Hi, welcome back to Creative Mezat in children's story series The Ramayana for Children, The Girl Who Chose. This is part 2. If you have not checked out the part 1, please do check it out. It's a beautiful narration of the first part of this book. Now let's get into the second part, her second choice. Let's get started. Her second choice. Ram and Sita lived in the forest for 13 years. They climbed mountains and swam across rivers. They spent the night observing the sky, the stars, and other celestial bodies such as the planets and the comets. They spent the day observing plants, animals, fruits, and roots. They met many sages on their way. They spent hours and days talking to the wise men. Thus, they discovered and learned many wondrous things. Sita, her husband, and her brother in law discovered in what ways animals are different from humans. Animals live by instinct. In order to survive and to find food and mates, the strong use their strength and weak use their intelligence. They are programmed only to help their young or other members of their own kind. Humans, however, can help anyone, even strangers. In the forest, there is no kindness, no cruelty, no right or no wrong, just the survival of the fittest. Ram, Sita, and Lakshman realized that humans use choices and rules to create a world where there is more kindness and less cruelty, more right and less wrong. Rules are needed to make people help others. We can choose to help people. Helping others is the key. The three made friends with many animals in the forest. Amongst them was an old vulture called Jatayu, who decided that he would always fly over them to ensure their safety. For the forest was a dangerous place, especially the southern landscape below the Vindhya mountains. India is shaped like a diamond with the Himalayan mountains making up the northern border and the oceans making up the southern border. Dividing this diamond-shaped land into north and south is the Vindhya range. Ayodhya is located in the north. During his exile, Ram traveled with Sita and Lakshman to every corner of the continent, discovering caves and ponds and rivers. These eventually became pilgrimage sites. In the 14th year of their exile in the forest, a beautiful woman named Surpanaga came to Ram on the banks of river Godavari and said to him, "Will you be my husband?" Ram politely answered, "I have a wife." She said, "Take another." Ram said, "I'm very happy with my wife and I don't want another. Please respect my choice." Valmiki in his Sanskrit Ramayana describes Surpanaga as an ugly creature with uncontrollable desires, while Kamban's Tamil Ramayana describes her as a beautiful lady and the widow of Vidyut who is accidentally killed by Ravana. Surpanaga did not like what she heard. She felt rejected and angry. She attacked Sita, hoping that with her gone, Ram would take another wife. Clearly, she was a Rakshasa who did not care for other people's choice but only about her own desire. Ram tried to stop her, but Surpanaga would not walk away. She was determined to do as she pleased. Finally, an irritated Lakshmana pulled out his sword and cut off Surpanaga's nose. Yelling in pain, she ran away into the dense, dark forest. We think she's wrong. She thinks we are wrong. Every choice is a consequence. We cannot escape the poor women's rage. I made a choice because I wanted to protect my family. Soon the forest was filled with the sound of angry Rakshasas, Surpanaga's brothers and companions determined to avenge the cruelty of Ram and Lakshman. Had it not been self-defense? But it did not matter to the Rakshasas. In anger, logic makes no sense. The Rakshasa attacked the two brothers who fought bravely, shooting arrows skillfully until the Rakshasas retreated. "We will be back," they snarled as they withdrew. This made Ram and Lakshman very nervous and they always carried their weapons, guarding each other as well as Sita. Did you notice? Rakshasa women are always accompanied by two male companions who fight with them and for them. Tadaka had Subahu and Maricha. Surpanaka had Kara and Dushan. Did Surpanaka consider Sita to be a Rakshasa woman just like her? For she too was accompanied by two men, Ram and Lakshman. After a few days later, Sita saw a golden deer grazing quite close to her shelter. Sita said to Ram, Oh, what a lovely deer. I would love to pet that deer. Ram said, I will get the deer for you. He went into the forest following the animal. For a long time, Sita and Lakshman waited to see him emerge, but nothing happened. Suddenly, they heard Ram's voice, Lakshman, help! Lakshman, help! Sita panicked and asked Lakshman to go looking for him. He is in trouble. In palm leaf paintings from ancient Odisha, the golden deer is shown as having two heads. At first, Lakshman hesitated to go, for Ram had instructed him never to leave Sita alone. But Sita insisted, accusing him of bothering more about royal rules than about his brother's pain. Lakshman said, I will go, but before that I will draw a line outside your hut. You must not cross it. You are safe inside the line. Outside the line you are not safe. Sita agreed and Lakshman left. The story of Lakshman's line or the Lakshman Rekha is not found in Valmiki's Ramayana but was invented by Kritivasa, who retold the story of Ram in Bengal over 400 years ago. Inside this line is human society full of rules. Outside this line is the forest where there are no rules. Inside this line I am safe, or am I a prisoner? Outside this line I am not safe, but am I free? Soon a hermit arrived at her door. The hermit said, I am hungry. Can you feed me? I will feed you. Sita replied. She went into her hut and came out with food. She offered it to him across the line without stepping outside the boundary. The hermit took offense. He said, That is not the way to serve your guest. You must walk across the line and serve me properly. Sita realized he was speaking to her with the humanity that separates man from animals. Animals don't consider any boundaries in the forest. Man creates them. Sita wondered if she stays inside she is safe, but will it help the hermit? He will remain hungry. And then she wondered some more. Sita had to make a choice that animals don't have. Either she could let the hermit be hungry while remaining safe herself, or she could take a risk and step outside the Rekha to feed the poor soul. Sita understood that her choice would help someone, so she decided to take the risk. In the forest, the animals only thinks about its own safety, not about protecting another animal. This was the difference between animals and humans. Humans help other humans. Thus, she stepped out the line to feed the poor hermit. This was Sita's second choice. As soon as Sita crossed the line, the hermit changed into a fierce man and grabbed her by force. Sita had to pay a price for her choice. It had terrible repercussions. Her acts of goodness had a bad consequence. But she considered at that moment, if she had to feed the hungry over her own safety, would she do it again? Yes, she said to herself. Ram lets me choose to follow him to the forest. Ravana does not let me choose and drags me to Lanka. As Sita was dragged into the man's flying vehicle called the Pushpaka Vimana, she screamed for help, but she realized that Ram and Lakshman were too far to come and save her. She panicked that Ram will not be able to trace her, but then she had an idea. As the Pushpaka Vimana rose in the air and moved south, she began to drop her jewelry one by one, her earrings, her bangles, her gold chains, rings, and on her fingers and those on her toes. These fell on the forest floor, creating a trail to guide Ram. When Ram returned to the hut, he discovered that Sita was missing. He looked around, but she was nowhere to be found. What had happened to her? Then, not from far the hut, he saw a wounded vulture. Did the Ramayana inspire the European fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel, who leaves breadcrumbs to mark a trail from their home as they venture into the forest? Sadly, birds eat the breadcrumbs and the brothers and sisters are unable to find their way back. It was Jatayu. His wings had been chopped off. She was kidnapped by Ravana, king of Rakshasa. He had taken her away on his flying chariot. They went south. I tried to stop them, but Ravana cut my wings. Revealing this, the poor bird breathed his last. On hearing of Sita's misfortune, Ram began to weep. What would the Rakshasa king do to her? Then he wondered how he would live without her. The pain that he felt was tremendous. So this was the second part of the Ramayana for Children, The Girl Who Chose. If you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe. Meet you soon with the third part. Until then, bye.